the 1984 Supreme Court case of Sony versus Universal. Sony Pictures Entertainment Incorporated, known simply as Sony Pictures, is a Japanese entertainment company that produces, acquires, and distributes filmed entertainment through multiple platforms. Universal Pictures, also known as Universal Studios and formerly Universal Film Manufacturing Company, is an American film studio owned by Comcast. Memes, movie review channels on YouTube like CinemaSins or Film Theory. GIFs and DVDs would not exist without this case. All of the examples I've given, and more like them, are protected and based off an American law called fair use. Fair use is what allows you to not only share memes, but allows you to make them. It allows YouTube channels like Film Theory and CinemaSins to even exist. Fair use, the doctrine that brief excerpts of copyright material may, under certain circumstances, be, quote, verbatim for purposes such as criticism, news reportings, teaching, and research, without the need for permission from or payment to the copyright holder. I know, it's a lot that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, all that means is that you don't have to pay or ask permission to use pictures or short clips like memes or GIFs. And something that would not qualify for fair use is posting an entire movie and TV shows on YouTube. In the criminal justice system, piracy-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In the U.S., the Supreme Court case of Sony versus Universal are members of an elite special film case. This is their story. Fair use allows me to make that reference. Sony Corporation of America manufactured and sold the Betamax home videotape recorder, VTR, later to be known as VCR. Universal Studios owned the copyrights to television programs broadcast on public airwaves. Universal sued Sony for copyright infringement, alleging that because consumers used Sony's Betamax to record Universal's copyrighted works, Sony was liable for the copyright infringement allegedly committed by those consumers in violation of the Copyright Act. Universal sought momentary damages, an equitable accounting of profits, and an injunction against the manufacturing and marketing of the VTRs. The district court denied all relief, holding that non-commercial home use recording of material broadcast over the public airwaves was a fair use of copyrighted works and did not constitute copyright infringement. Moreover, the court concluded that Sony could not be held liable as contributory infringers even if the home use of VTR was considered an infringing use. The most famous example of copyright owners not really caring if people recorded their shows was Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Rogers testified at the district court and said he was fine with it, saying it actually helped his show be seen more. In a 5-4 opinion delivered by Justice John Paul Stevens, the court held that the sale of VTRs to the general public does not constitute contributory infringement of Universal's copyrights. The court concluded that there was a significant likelihood that a substantial number of copyright holders who licensed their works for free public broadcasts would not object to having their broadcast times shifted by private viewers, and that Universal failed to show that time. Shifting would cause non-minimal harm to the potential market for or the value of their copyrighted works. Justice Stevens wrote that for the court that the sale of copyright equipment does not constitute contributory infringement if the product is widely used for legitimate, unobjectable purposes, or indeed is merely capable of substantial non-infringing uses. Created and voiced by Alyssa Chappelle. Starring Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. But wait, there's more. Looking back at this case in 2018, the dissenting minority seems quite old-fashioned and out of touch. After the decision, Universal Studios and other studios and film corporations like Disney immediately try to get Congress to pass a law that would protect them from the effects of home video distribution. But by that time, it was too late. VCRs were everywhere, and millions were already copying stuff. Sony versus Universal, also known as the Betamax case, is the most important Supreme Court decision dealing with the development and distribution of the video cassette recorder. It allowed video as a format to become huge in the United States. The case gave more power to the consumer, but also ended up helping the TV and film industry anyway, as they ended up making billions from the new technology. To show the impact and importance of this case, as an example, I've used Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, a pretty well-known character. A character I did not ask for permission to use, nor did I have to pay for the use of this character, because I'm using her for learning purposes, means it falls under fair use, and thus I am fully allowed to use Sally, and the memes, and the SVU theme song. However, had this case went the other way, I wouldn't have been able to use any of what I used in this video. So for the meme sharing, DVD-loving world we live in today, we can thank the Burger Court in the Supreme Court case of Sony versus Universal Studios for the ruling in favor of Sony, for without this ruling, we would all live very different lives in a very different world.
It's good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Hallelujah, let that bass line move, yeah, say yeah. It's good to be alive right about now. I was dead in the water, nobody wanted me. I was old news, I went cold as cold could be. But I kept throwing on cold, trying to make that fire burn. Sometimes you gotta get scars to get what you deserve. I kept moving on, and now I'm moving up. Damn, I'm feeling blessed with all this love. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Now all my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.